I'm Kelly Mitchell, and this is BreveTV Uncorked, Women on Wine, Business, and Evolution, sharing rich conversation to enlighten, challenge, and inspire the busiest people on Earth. My co-host, Debra Trappen. Welcome to the show, Debra.
Thanks so much, Kel. Wonderful to be here, as always.
And as always, we'll be in the stream at 6 p.m. sharp Pacific time, playing the video at brevetv.com/live. So see you there, and be sure to tell us what's in your glass. Now let's get this party started. Okay, girls, ladies, Miss Debra, what is in your glass today?
So, I've been on a white wine kick. For the Syrah girl, I have been drinking a lot of, partly because it's freaking 90 degrees here in the summer this year.
Dear Lord.
I am over in Woodinville again at one of my favorite wineries, Novelty Hill. This is their 2013 Sauvignon, and it is, again, I like the drier whites. I'm not a super sweet girl.
Okay.
So this is, again, great for concert in the park. Perfect for that. And oh, by the way, I would put it in your BreveTV sippy wine cup, not a crystal glass.
Okay. And you know, how do we determine when it goes in a sippy cup versus when it goes in a crystal glass?
So I would say if you're going to be outside and sitting in a very low chair, there is a high probability of a glass going down.
I got it. Okay, so that's why this one should be in the park for a movie in a BreveTV sippy cup, right?
Indeed.
I love it. Okay, so for me, I have the 2011 Angeline Pinot Noir. Now, this is a bizarre little story. I was in Petaluma, I want to say 2 months ago, and this actually has 60% grapes from Sonoma County. They're also getting grapes from Pinot grapes from Santa Barbara and Mendocino. So it really makes a nice blend, but it's a blend of regions, not a blend of grapes. So they're all Pinot grapes, Pinot Noir grapes. At any rate, so I was at Cucina Paradiso in Petaluma having dinner with my husband. The table next to us was wrapping up, and they looked like they were out-of-towners, which indeed they were. They were actually from Paso Robles, and the gentleman sitting to my right was a writer, and he was talking about his friend who was not a sommelier. What do they call them when they make wine? Winemakers. It's a trick question. And so he offered his bottle to us because they didn't finish the wine, and he said this was a gift to me from my friend who's actually the winemaker from Angeline in Paso Robles. Would you like to try this? So we were like, you know, absolutely. Are you kidding me? So it was a fantastic wine, great complement with Italian food, I have to say. And I stumbled into this at Costco yesterday. Like, what are the chances of Costco carrying a boutique wine that I had experienced in Petaluma at an Italian restaurant that was a gift from an individual there?
Oh, and by the way, in Hawaii.
And what?
In Hawaii, no less.
I know, and I find it in Hawaii, like unless you go to like the boutique wine shops, you don't get a lot of great wine. So that's my little story. I'm sticking to it. Cheers to you, Debra.
Cheers, my dear. So what are we talking about today? What are we talking about?
Oh my God, I'm so excited. Episode 65, 5 Ways to Rule LinkedIn for Business. LinkedIn is probably one of the best networking tools in the social space. It's been around a lot longer than everybody else, right? Longer than Twitter, longer than Facebook. And the amount of opportunities to expand your network, both local and global, are huge, as well as connecting with past contacts or those in network groups. So today what we're going to talk about is how to make your LinkedIn profile a hit, not a miss, because that's not cool, on LinkedIn. It's one of the most important digital business cards and connectors that you have. So let's talk just for a minute about our own personal experiences or wins from LinkedIn?
Wow. Well, I think LinkedIn is a magnificent business networking tool. I think my biggest win is that I'm not in the camp of people who think it's ludicrous. There are so many people who just don't get LinkedIn. So I think the biggest win that I've had up to date is that I understand the power of it, and I've been able to connect with some serious C and B level execs to make things happen over the years because of the tools.
Absolutely. Very important. Important aspects as far as making connections and being able to reach people that you normally wouldn't be able to. I mean, it really gives people that front line to see who you are, what you've done in your past. It's, it's a resume, it's an online resume, literally, right?
Yeah, and I think that's what stops most people from using it. And I think it stops a lot of entrepreneurs from using it because they think, what do I need an online resume for? I have my own company, I'm my own man, I'm my own woman, I don't need it. But I think that's what some of the fun things that we're going to actually talk about today is why having a LinkedIn profile is so important as an entrepreneur.
Absolutely. And for me, it's really, one of the challenges in living in Hawaii for so long is I've got this like 2,500 miles of water that I can't, traverse unless I hop in a plane or get on a small, ship. So it really gave me an opportunity to connect with people that I wasn't otherwise able to connect with. And, the contacts are amazing there. They're absolutely amazing. The exposure to, interests that you may have via groups is huge as well. So I think it can definitely help you expand your expertise with learning from others. So let's talk first about personalizing your URL. Like, our URL, are you talking about, do I have my own website URL for LinkedIn? Let's talk about how you personalize your URL on LinkedIn.
I think the thing about LinkedIn that most people don't do is they don't edit their profile often enough. And so most people don't even know they actually can have a unique, customized URL. So I think the most important thing when you're talking about a personal profile is to go onto your page and click that little edit profile button. Right underneath your photo, there's actually a link that says linkedin.com /in/ and then if you don't have it customized, it's like UTC1478253.
I am never going to find you with a UTC17480. Did I get that all correct?
Oh, gosh, I think you did.
Oh my God. Well, I've forgotten it in 3 seconds. So. It's like we're just making it hard for people to find us if we don't personalize the URL, right?
Absolutely. And the point of having presence online is to be found.
Absolutely.
So just click that edit button and look for your little URL, and right next to it it says edit, and you click it and you do it. So I think that's just a very basic way to start taking better advantage of it. And then whenever you're adding it anywhere, it's way easier to remember it. As all of those other social networks that say, oh, add your LinkedIn profile. Hey, now you don't go and find that crazy URL.
Absolutely. And so share with us what your URL is.
Well, of course, it's linkedin.com/in/Debra Trappen. Notice that I did not say Debra 11. And it's one of the very few social networks. Only LinkedIn and Google Plus do I use my first and last name. Everywhere else I use Debra 11 because of the SEO behind it, and because it's my business. It's not my social profile. It is me. It is my professional profile. So I actually use Debra Trappen on LinkedIn. How about you? What do you use?
Well, for everything else, I use Kelly Mitchell. Unlike yourself, I used Kelly Mitchell on every platform I could. When it came to LinkedIn and Facebook, though, there are a lot of Kelly Mitchells, and in fact, Pinterest as well. So I had to go with LinkedIn /in/ Kelly Mitchell with an S at the end. So I still tried to protect the integrity of my name for, you know, optimization so people can find me, but I had to add an extra consonant. How do you say that? Is it a consonant or consonant?
Just a letter. You had to add an extra letter.
Oh my God, that's so much easier. I had to add an extra letter because there were a lot of Kelly Mitchells out there. So
great point, because there's a lot of people out there that have similar names.
And then with my Facebook profile, I did Kelly O. Mitchell. I don't know why.
Oh my goodness.
Well, my maiden name was O'Connor, so I was like, you know, maybe my high school friends that I might want to reconnect with, or anybody who knew me with my maiden name, would kind of figure it out. And it seems they have. So, okay, so that's personalizing your URL, guys. Everybody got it? Any questions? No questions? Perfect. Okay, let's talk. I love this. It's just you and I. Who can ask a question? But you can't ask questions in the stream when we're live anytime, so feel free. Let's talk SEO now, because we've got this like beautiful profile that we're going to go back and check periodically and make sure that it looks good for everybody. But if people can't find this beautiful profile, it's of no use, is it?
That is so true. And I think that most people get stumped by the term SEO or search engine optimization in general.
Good point.
And so I love that we are breaking this down. And I would say, if I could say one word, would be keyword. Just keyword rock out your profile. What do you want to be known for? What do you want people to hire you for? What are your past experiences you want to highlight? And use those words over and over again as appropriate in your description, in your summary. Use it, use it, use it, use it. Use it.
I love it. I absolutely love it. So keywords, give us an example of some of the keywords that you're using for your profile, please. Silence. Are you still there? Oh my God, this is not funny.
I hear you.
What are you doing? Like, where did she go?
I'm here. Can you hear me?
I can hear you now, but if you responded to my question, I couldn't hear a word. Isn't that funny?
That's wild.
You're driving me to drink.
Oh, I love the inside joke. Check out episode 64 and you'll know why we're laughing. Okay, so personal brand and personal branding are two things that I'm really passionate about, as well as storytelling and social media.
Customer experience.
I mean, these are words that are just woven in my description. And they're also the words that I use as my keywords at the bottom, right? So it's not just in the descriptions. You actually can say, here are my skills.
Love it.
Put those words in. So you actually have the power, Kelly, to go in and say, I want to be known for, and fill in the blank, and then people go in and help you by giving you endorsements and all sorts of things.
Oh my God, that's like a CNC music factory. You got the power.
Oh yeah. Anyways.
So you do have the power, though, to help people find you, and I think that executing a strong keyword strategy with your profile, keeping in mind what your brand and your brand goals are, is huge. So for me, obviously I have real estate. I'm using my brands throughout the profile, the brand names, and the entrepreneurial aspects. So entrepreneur, women in biz, real estate brokers, real estate, you know, we're not supposed to say real estate on this show. Moving along here very quickly, digital marketing. And I'm going to get fined for that, just so you know. Okay, number 3, optimizing your profile for decision makers. Now, as we discussed earlier, this can help you find a job if you are needing a job, but most of you watching are entrepreneurs. So why is this important from an entrepreneurial standpoint? because you can connect with your decision makers. So, and people who may buy from you, potential customers, potential strategic partnerships. So, Debra, let's talk a little bit about how we optimize our profile so these people can find us, or so we can sweep them off their feet and they want to reach out and connect.
I love this. So one of the things that comes to mind is put yourself on their side. Think about the advice that they're getting from recruiters, from executive coaches on what to do on their website. Seriously, just go to Google and say, how should I optimize my LinkedIn profile? And do some of those things, because here's the reality is when a CEO is jumping onto LinkedIn, which by the way, 40% of LinkedIn users visit it every single day. So in the United States, there's 100 million people on there. That's a lot of people jumping on. So if they're jumping in to see what's going on and they're popping on your profile and your profile is lame, it doesn't have very many keywords, it doesn't give a really good, solid summary of who you are, then they're check out their profile and add in these things. So think about what your client, your future client, or your future consumer would want to see. That's what optimizing it for them means.
I love it. I absolutely love it. And what better way? I mean, you can't do this this targeted on Pinterest. You can't do this targeted on Twitter. You can't do this targeted on Facebook. I mean, there is really no other place that you have an opportunity in the social space but LinkedIn to do it this precise, correct?
It's for business in particular.
Very good point. Very good point. Okay, I so love that, and I'm thinking too, like, we need to look at our profiles as other people would see them, because I think that we get in this comfort zone. I don't know, when you set up your first LinkedIn profile, I probably set mine up sometime in the 90s if they were online. It was like about the same time as MySpace, right? Was it?
I'm actually not sure. I think I started on LinkedIn in like 2004, so I don't know the start date of the company.
I have no concept of time-space elements, so it could be 2004 as well for me. Whenever they started, I was a fairly quick adopter. But for the amount of time that they've been around, comparatively speaking to the other social networks, they've got a huge presence. I think it's like globally, and globally is also an important market now that we've erased a lot of boundaries through the internet and through social. But globally, I think they have like 295 million people, and that is unprecedented from a business standpoint. So.
Well, and that's a really good point when you're talking about optimizing it for optimizing your profile. Remember to also make it easily translatable, because 65% of the folks that are on LinkedIn are not sitting in the United States. So,
what do we mean by easily translatable?
I mean, just what I said. When they push that little button at the top that says French or German, don't try and add in a bunch of buzzy words. Like, use real business words so that they translate into other languages.
Kill the buzzwords. Do not be faddish.
Yeah, or just, to a minimum. Make sure that they translate.
Don't use too many acronyms, right?
Right, like what is guru in German? Does that even...
Oh my God, wait, guru? Come on, that's like 1995, right?
Guru.com!
Oh my God, okay. Okay, so that's optimizing your profile for decision makers, number 3. Number 4 is work samples. Now, for me, I used a work sample that was somebody interviewing me. Is that helpful? And what specifically is a work sample?
Well, let's see. I think it is a good example of who you are, but a work sample for you might be one of your Agent Caffeine episodes.
Got it.
Or one of our BreveTV episodes. Having those linked onto your profile so that people see those and can watch them, keeping them updated, of course, but showcase, like, what's your favorite episode and on both of your brands, and putting that in there. Because for me, one of my big passions is doing speaking and speaking to specifically to firing up your personal brand, I have specific presentations that I've done, not just of me speaking live, but actually of my slide decks that I've taken and put on SlideShare, and then put profile. So they not only see me live, they also can see the slides that I prepare.
Love it.
As we're talking through this, I'm thinking, golly, I should add the BreveTV episode. So I think I will be doing that.
I definitely will be doing that, as well as the Agent Caffeine episode, an episode or two. Now, where do they go specifically? So we're looking at our LinkedIn profiles. We're editing our profiles. Where the heck does it go?
Well, that's, it's movable. There's different areas, and when you go in and you start editing your profile, remember, you can move things around. I have mine right underneath my summary so that you can see those, and then I have them again underneath my current position, right? So my current job, my gig, I also have some samples. So you can move things around. I like keeping them towards the top because it keeps people interested to click something that is in motion. Right, they're just reading and seeing my static profile photo, which by the way is updated, and so people can actually recognize me. But I think it's keeping people moving down your page. The showing your work gives them an idea of that for sure.
Fabulous. Okay, let's talk recommendations.
Mm-hmm.
Recommendations? Who the heck is that?
Oh my goodness! Who finds?
Who did that? Debra, was that you?
No.
I'm kidding. Okay, number 5, recommendations. Okay, so recommendations are different from endorsements. And endorsements, I mean, those things like pop up all the time anytime you log in, and you can just click away on what you think people are either experienced at or experts at or knowledgeable about. But this is vastly different from the power of recommendations. Please share with us the power of recommendations and why we need those on our page.
Yeah, I think that, recommendations validate who you are as a business professional on LinkedIn. If you say you are a trainer and there are no recommendations about the classes you've taught, that feels awkward. If it's all about, just what a great person you are and what a great salesperson you are, but yet you're seeking positions that are right outside of the sales space, it doesn't make sense. So it really validates your profile. And the thing with the LinkedIn recommendation is they are technically very hard to share out. So a lot of people don't push recommendations there because it's like, how do you share them? How do you get them out of there? And so I think, one of the things that I do is I just take screenshots and copy and paste them onto my website under the praise section, and then say, hey, if you want to see more of my recommendations, visit my LinkedIn profile. So I drive traffic back to my LinkedIn profile so that they can read. And I think I probably have around 40 recommendations on LinkedIn now. And so I'm not going to put 40 recommendations on my website, for crying out loud. But I do want I want them to be seen.
Put the juiciest ones on.
Yeah, and keep them fresh, right? If I've got recommendations, is it a graveyard? Am I still in business? So update them, create additional content for Google to, see and experience on your website for sure.
And then one of the points I wanted to share too is social is so much about giving, and often that comes back to you. So another way to get recommendations is to give recommendations. It's also another way to show that without asking for something, that you're willing to share and to help others. And so, of course, you want to make sure that these recommendations are legitimate, that you've actually worked with somebody in some capacity before you go ahead and make a recommendation, and make it meaningful. Like, don't just put, oh, this person's really great to work with. Like, say specifics. Make it quantifiable if you can. I love for resumes and recommendations to have something along the lines of saved, achieved, or mades, the SAM rules. So saving maybe, this person was so excellent when I hired them to do my bookkeeping because they saved me thousands of dollars, or they made me more efficient in this process because they executed, saved, achieved, made, there we go. I think and I achieved a higher sales goal because they taught me how to work leads more efficiently. Those are great ways to give recommendations.
That's beautiful.
And it also helps you get more exposure because you're on somebody else's profile. Okay, last one because we are out of time. Paid or free? Do I have to pay a minimum of $49.95 a month to get more visibility? Is that truly necessary? And I mean, I think some people are even paying $99.95. That's a lot of money.
Well, I've had both. I've had both the premium account and the free account. And, when I was in corporate America, the premium account made a lot of sense for me. I got to see a little bit more information from a recruiting perspective.
Right.
But as an individual, I haven't missed it at all. I think part of it is because, to your point with recommendations, is the people that I welcome in on LinkedIn are people that I know or at least have a very close relationship with, somebody we have in common. And so I'm not out there just trying to build the number, right? I'm not going for quantity, I'm going for quality.
Absolutely.
And so I don't need that, the in-mails as much. I think you get 5 with the free account, which is plenty. And the rest of them, you tap into other ways to connect with them. I just don't think that you need it to rock out and to rule LinkedIn by any means.
I totally agree with you. I totally agree. I've never had a paid account disclosure, but my network, I have 500 plus connections, and it's growing all the time. And I think that making it a practice to add people to your network as you meet them is huge, and that helps you grow, and it also helps you get additional connections in different degrees. But we're going to go a little bit more over that in the next episode. Debra, any closing remarks?
Yep, just one last tip underneath that edit button on your profile is when you click on that, you have an option that says export to PDF. Make sure every once in a while you export your profile. It dumps everything, all the content that you've added in there, your recommendations, all the skills, and just save that on your hard drive. We have no idea how long LinkedIn's going to be around. Hopefully for years and years and years. But just in case, to keep all of those recommendations in one place, export to PDF.
Awesome. Love it. Thanks for listening to BreveTV Uncorked. To our fans, go bold, caffeinators and women on wine. Subscribe to BreveTV.com so you won't miss an episode and you won't miss the rich goodness of information for your entrepreneurial lifestyle. I'm Kelly Mitchell for Debra Trappen and BreveTV Uncorked, signing off. Take care.
Cheers.